Good morning. Hopefully you can see and hear us okay. Slightly different feel this week because we've relocated to ensure that we've got a bit more stability with our connection. So if you can see or hear us, please feel free to say hello. This week we are drawing the Eurasian Jay. Hang on a second. Very aware that I didn't have my microphone anywhere near us then, so hopefully you can hear us now. I've got a ton of facts to share about this fascinating little bird, and we're going to be drawing it. I'm going to draw a landscape, I think, this week. So apologies if the lighting is slightly darker. I'm not in the studio as normal. We've relocated to the living room in order that we can ensure better stability for the internet so that we don't cut off like we did last week. So it might be slightly darker, but hopefully less glitchy. Fingers crossed. Hi, Jill, Emily, Freya. Hello, Susie. Hello, Steph. Hello, Lane. Awesome. So I'm taking it by that we are good and that the connection is not too shabby today. Good morning, Joseph, as well. Awesome. Got quite a few people joining us today. So, yes, we have got our, is it penultimate? Is that what you say when it's the second to last one? Our penultimate for this term of looking at animals in Czechoslovakia specifically. And we're looking at this bird, the Eurasian jay, which is a bird that you find in a few different places, and I will share some information about that as we go along. Hello, Danine. Danine? I'm sorry if I pronounce your names wrong. So shall we get started? I've filtered out some pencils, lots of bright colours this week, because we've got some nice, almost like rosy pinky colours in the feathers, some bright blue, and some browns as well. And if we get time, I'll put some of that foreground in where he's standing on that little mossy stone as well. So as I said, I'm going to work landscape on my page to make sure I fit his tail and beak in everything. If I work that way around, there's a good chance I'm going to chop something off accidentally. So let's get started, shall we? Go on, if I thought my setup was a bit difficult drawing before, if you could see me now, I'm working backwards on the sofa to be able to work on this paper. So I'm just adding in another challenge for myself. And Michael, what are you working on? A cushion. You're drawing on a cushion. Awesome. So I'm going to start by sketching in the basic shape. Start with a head over here, and then the body. I'm just drawing oblongs to begin with to get the rough shape, just to make sure that I've got enough room on my page. Because if I draw this out and I think, oh no, I've not got enough room for the tail, I've not spent ages drawing out every little detail before I figured that out. It's just a rough sketch, so if I had to rub it out at this point, I've not wasted lots of time and effort. So that's why I'm starting that way. And then we can worry about actually improving the accuracy as we go along. Hello, Pie. Hi from Nell as well. Awesome. You're a busy one today.
Mine's very fat.
You got a fat, Jay, have you? So if you're not happy with it, Michael, because remember you rushed last time a bit, didn't you? So take your time and try the sketching technique.
Looks cute.
You're sticking with it, are you?
I don't know. The head looks small.
So I don't think that's too bad a starting point. I'll probably adjust the angle of the head as I go, because mine's looking downwards, but in the picture he's sort of a little bit more upright. So I'll probably change that as I go. But at the moment, I just want to make sure that I'm happy with the proportions and the general shape. So I'm all right with that in a minute. I think I cut the legs off a bit too short, so I'm going to make them a bit bigger as well. Okay, let's share some information. Joe, good morning everyone. Hi from Pie and hi. I've already said this, haven't I? Hi from Mel. Just you get a double hi. So the Eurasian jay is a species of bird in the crow family. I never know how to pronounce this. Corvidae. I think that's the Latin for the crow family, possibly. It has a pinkish brown plumage with a black stripe on each side of a whitish throat, a bright blue panel on the upper wing, and a black tail. So there we are, introducing you to the Eurasian jay. Has anyone ever seen one of these in real life? And interestingly, now that I've zoomed into the eye, and like most of the animals we draw, look at the colour of his eye. It's like a violet-y blue colour, not brown. And I assumed he had a brown eye, but I didn't look carefully. But that's cool. Not at that point yet, though. Oh, Steph has seen an Eurasian jay. Oh, whereabouts was that? Susie, I wish, but I've never seen one. I don't think I've ever seen one for real life. We do have them in the UK. Joe's got a question. I've got some questions this morning. Oh, you're just going to throw some in the mix. Are you expecting me to answer, Joe? I'm multitasking to the extreme today. How do you work out the proportions? What do we mean by that? Are you asking me that, or are you answering the question in your next comment, Joe? So I'm gonna.
Mine looks like a duck.
Duck's not quite what we're going for today, Michael.
No.
I'm going to try and work out where I want the beak and the eye to go at this point as well.
I think I might just go with my first try, to be honest.
Oh, did you start again, but now
I just
you're
think
switching
it's-
back?
I quite like it. Nice and small. It's also going to add different things in it.
And then as I go along, I'm going to rub out some of these guidelines so I don't get too confused because there's a lot going on. Quite a round eye. It has got an oval shape to it, but it is quite round. Joe's asking me because it might help some other people that are joining us. So how do we work out the proportions? Now, there are more scientifically based ways of doing that. I do it all by eye. So I just sketch and re-sketch until I'm happy with proportions. So I use basic shapes like circles and oblongs and squares to get the basic form down. And there's a 80 to 20% ratio in terms of how much time you spend looking at your reference image and looking at your own page. So actually you should be looking at your reference image 80% of the time, because our memories make assumptions. So we think we know exactly where something should go, but actually if you keep glancing back at your picture, you might find that actually, oh, that's not quite right, I need to adjust it. So I'm doing that here, even here with the angle of the head right now. So I'm adjusting it constantly as I go. And correcting it myself to make it look more realistic and true to the picture. Now it doesn't have to look exactly like your picture because it's artwork, so it's your interpretation. But if you're trying to go for a realism style, then the more you can keep flitting back to your picture and adjusting things, the more likely you're going to get an accurate illustration at the end of it all. So now I've noticed my head is enlarged, which means I'm going to have to adjust everything else as I go. So there is, like I say, in formal art setting, if you're taught an art lesson, you'll be taught very, this is the way to do it, which it works for a lot of people. For me personally, it's just by trial and error and just practicing and having a go. So I hope I haven't made this so big that I can't get the whole bird in now. So we shall see.
That's why you should go small like me.
You've gone small on your page. Yeah, but if I go too small, it's difficult to then put all the detail in.
I just think it's really cute.
And then if you're working from a device, as you get to certain details, you can zoom in so you can see more information to be able to translate it into your own illustration.
Yeah, picture you can't do that with.
Yeah, if it's a printed out picture, you're sort of limited to the size that you've printed to, if that makes sense. You can just see those claws, little sharp claws that Jay has. Quite raptor-like, aren't they?
I think I put some butterflies in the background.
You could do.
That's why I've made it small. So I can put like different stuff in it.
Oh, this is much harder work. The position I'm having to sit in, it's like a abs workout right now, just to make sure that we have better internet connection. So get that sorted for next week. other back leg you can just see in the background, so it's not quite in the foreground. We can't see as much of it. It's almost on the other side of the rock, isn't it? See the little back toe, and that's it, I think. So I'm just going to draw that in, and then add in some detail for the little moss on that rock. Okay, we're getting there. Mine's sort of ducking down a little bit more than in the photo, but that's okay. Now I want to get in some of that wing detail. Obviously this is a big feature of the jay, these blue wings with the black stripy bits in it. It's going to be a bit tricky to do because of it needs accuracy and symmetry for it to look right. That's what I always find quite challenging about birds, drawing birds, is how symmetrical and unforgiving the wing patterns can be. Whereas fur, you can be quite sketchy with it. Wings, you need to be a little bit more accurate for it to look realistic.
If you look closely, you can see some grey in the middle.
Yep. Yeah, it's little flashes of grey. In the wing. Is that where
Not just in the middle, like on the feather.
Yeah. Within the sort of pinky, orangey colour.
Yeah.
And they've got longer feathers around, I want to say bottom, that's, I don't know what other part of the anatomy you'd call that. So again, we'll bear that in mind if we're showing different texture. God, am I going to cut his tail off? Have I left my enough space?
Oh, mine's
Mine's just about. Oh, Michael, you've sped ahead.
Yeah.
Might have to get you to read out some of these facts for me. Got a page of them today. Yeah, just about fit them all in. I've seen a jay in a tree at the bottom of our road. Oh, nice. Okay, next fact. They have a wingspan of between 12 and 14 inches, so probably about the size of our page. Their lifespan is 16 to 17 years, which that quite surprised me. That seems like a long time for a bird to live. But actually, I've not actually done any research on how that compares to other birds, so maybe we could look into that. They can fly at 20 miles an hour, so quite speedy. Their predators are the eagle owl, cats, eagles and crows even. And their habitat is around Europe, North Africa and Asia. So they're quite widespread in terms of where we can locate them, find them. Right. I'm not overly happy with that eye, so I'm going to give that another go. Now that I've got the other features in, I can sort of work out where the eye sits a little bit more accurately, hopefully. So it's not a perfect circle, it's got a slight oblong to it. And he's got a big black pupil. He's got a little pattern around his eye, like a little ring, a black ring coming out. So I'm going to draw them in as well. Okay, I think that's not too bad as line drawing. How are we doing for time? 15:15, not too bad. So now I can really focus, because obviously the colour is a really important feature of this jay. Make sure we get the colouring right. So what should I start with? I'm going to start with the face, I believe. Got lots of colours going on there. I'm going to start with the pupil, remembering to leave a nice highlight. There's a highlight that we can see off to the right of the eye. I'm going to put that in, leaving a white gap. I think I need to make that pupil a bit bigger. And then that nice bright blue. Again, leaving a gap where that highlight is. And back to black to give him that nice black ring around his eye as well, but quite thin. So you can see that very clearly. That's That's how my eye's looking at the moment. And then I'm going to get that sort of patterning around his eye that I can see. And he's got some black rings under the eye as well. I'll put them in. And we've got some speckled little black feathers on the top of his head. So I'm going to draw them in as well. And just the same as when you're drawing out, you need to make sure when you're adding colour and when you're painting it, that you keep glancing back at your reference image. I'm continuously, my head is going left, right, like I'm watching a tennis match, just to check that what I'm doing is right and not just me making it up as I go along. If you want to make it up as you go along, that's absolutely fine. But I'm trying to draw as realistically as I can. I've got this nice big black stripe that it referenced when I read out the description. I've got this black stripe under his eye, leading from his beak. And make that quite dramatic and dark. How's the connection today? Is it a lot more stable than if you were here last year? Last week? I'm wishing away the year.
I've got some butterflies, or a butterfly.
Nice. And with the beak, I'm not just shading it black because you can see again a sort of highlight running down the beak, which makes it look shiny. So I'm leaving that lighter, just like in the photo, to try and make it look like it has a shiny texture. Look at my black pencil now. Will it make it to the end of term? Will it make it to the end of this drawing? And I can see like a really soft brown near where the beak joins the face. I'm going to just add in some brown plumage there to represent that. I'm going to continue that on by his head. So I've got this sort of sandy brown that I'm going to try and shade the most of the bird with. I'm going to get rid of some of these guidelines as I go as well. Just neaten up my drawing. Here's some more facts. So the jay's wings have the ability to reflect ultraviolet light that humans cannot see. It appears to play an important role in the bird's mating rituals. So presumably they're able to flash their wings and other jays are able to see them. But we wouldn't necessarily see the same colour that they see. So that's quite cool. I wonder what that would look like to them. April is usually the beginning of the nesting period for jays. Pairs mate for life and work together to construct their messy looking nests. Nests are built in trees and shrubs using twigs with root and hair for lining, where the female will lay 4 to 5 eggs. And I did see a fact, I obviously deleted it off my little sheet, but oh no, I've missed this. I said this, pairs mate for life, so like swans, they pair up and stay with each other and will create new broods of chicks each year. Jill has put, enter the Cozy Cafe competition, Pip, you could win some new pencils. Very good, cool. Yes, if you didn't know already, we're running a competition to design a cozy cafe, and there are 5 art goodie bags up for grabs, and included in that bag is some watercolour pencils, but there is a whole host of different prizes or different art materials within each bag, so up to the over the value of £50. So there's like an acrylic paint set, there's watercolour paints, there's watercolour pencils, there's brush pens, there's several sketchbooks, loads of stuff going on. So if you haven't seen it, do have a look at some of our older posts. I can't remember the closing date. If anyone's watching and can tell me the closing date for it, we'll announce the winners in our end of term live, which is the 15th of December. But you can present your idea in any form that you like. So it doesn't have to be a drawing. If you want to make a model, you can. If you want to use computers, for example, or Minecraft, I know that's not something Michael's working on, then you can. There is any medium of your choice is acceptable. And all you need to do is email your picture, or if it's a video run through, email it to Joe at joetechnologytriumphs@outlook.com. If Joe can remind me when the end date is, that'd be cool. And Joe's just mentioned, and some TT goodies too, don't forget. Yeah, so even includes a branded TT bag. It all comes in a TT bag with a TT pencil case and some other bits and pieces in there as well. So, and some brand new merchandise that no one's had before. So that'll be cool. Yeah, arrived last week. £5 PM on the 8th of December is the closing date. So email to joetechnologytriumphs@outlook.com with your ideas to enter in, and then we'll announce the winners at 7 PM on the 15th of December in our end of term live. And that competition's open for anyone to enter, any home educating learner to enter. You don't have to be enrolled onto one of our courses or anything. It's literally for anyone. So if you want to share that with other home ed families, please feel free to do so. I'm just coming up around the wing now, and I can see like a bluish grey tone, and I did not grab a grey pencil when we relocated up here. So I'm going to try and do this with a little bit of blue. Let's see if I can pull this off. So very, very softly putting in some blue, and then I might put on the orangey colour over the top of that, because it's not a bright blue, it is like a grey colour. I might even do it with a bit of black. So tone it down a bit. No, that seems to be working. Now there comes the tricky bit, is the blue wings. So I think what I'm going to try and do is the black stripes first of all. That's the bit that needs the accuracy, so I'm going to take my time on this. I might go a little bit quiet because of concentration. I'm putting in those black stripes, but they're not just straight stripes. If you look at the image, there's like a staggered, if I enlarge, you can see that it's disjointed where there's 2 feathers overrunning. And if you've ever done feathering work in cookery, that's what it looks like, where you drag, if you melt some chocolate and drag a cocktail stick through it, and you get that feathered. It's actually called the feathering technique, funny enough. That's what it looks like. So they're not just black straight lines. And they kind of get thicker and wider apart towards the tip of the wing. I do apologise if I keep clearing my throat. I got rid of this. I thought I got rid of this cough, but it's lingering. You winning, Michael?
Yeah, I'm just putting some trees and stuff in.
Nice. I'm just adjusting the shape of the wing as I go to make it a little bit more accurate. And now that the black is in, I can go in with the blue. Steph, I've drawn a J before. Oh, awesome. How's this one comparing? Do you see that your drawing has developed a little bit? When you put the post up this evening, if you want to have some feedback, you could always put both on there and I can compare between the two. I'm so sorry, I've got a real frog in my throat. It's very irritating. So now the flashes of blue, I'm going to try and be bold with my application of colour, because I want it to be really standing out and a prominent feature of this illustration.
I'm going to bring a brown.
Do you want to borrow my brown?
Yes, please. Thank you.
I thought I lost my black then, it's just so small I can't see it anymore.
Oh, no.
I think it's improved. Oh, that's good to see. I would assume so, because the more you practice, like with most things, the more you practice your drawing and your art skills, the better you become. So this is the bit I find tricky with these draw-alongs. Normally when I draw, and this is a top tip, right now I'm finding this movement with my hand quite alien. So what I would normally do is turn my page to get that angle. But I try to avoid doing that when I draw live so that it doesn't confuse you too much if you're following along. So if you are struggling like I do, like, oh, that's a bit awkward and uncomfortable, you can turn your page and it makes it a little bit easier. You can use one, man.
Got to hold this water now.
You've done an American blue jay as well. Oh wow. Are jays a favourite bird of yours then? I'm going to share some more facts in a minute. I just want to make sure I've got the colour down. They're quite interesting little birds. We'll see if we can get a soundbite as well. Nice black stripy tail. It's quite a sharp shape, if you know what I mean. It's very clear and definite. Susie, almost done. Just need to do the rock, then I'm finished. It's going really good. Oh, well done. I'm glad to hear it. I'm obviously a bit of a slowpoke, me. Can't keep up with you all. So there's a lot of white feathers here, so obviously I don't want to shade them, but I do want to give the illusion that they're 3D. So I'm going to use my black to just add in, and this isn't on the photo, but I'm using black pencil because I'm not doing the background. If I had the background, I could use that to create the outline of the feathers. So I'm just using it to just suggest those feathers. Oh, I didn't bring the right colours up for his legs. I haven't got pinks with me. Right, gonna have to improvise again. And I'm putting in some darker shading as well on the feathering where I can see it, because it's quite soft, gentle colours on a lot of the body, and I don't want to just dominate it with too much colour. So I'm just going to add in some subtle shading, because the blue wings and the blue eye and the black stripe on his face are really prominent. If I added too much tone in the other feathers, you're going to lose that sort of focus, I think. I'll post them all to you tonight if you like. Yes, please. I'd love to see them all. Thank you. So I'm using the black pencil now to sort of add in some more feather lines. You can just see, if you zoom in, you can see more feather lines. So I'm just going to add them in. Now, how am I going to do these legs without pink? Michael, I might have to send you to retrieve the pencil tin from the workshop. Yes, please. Ah, what is it? What's the saying? Failing to prepare. It's okay, I've got time to just put in the extra little bit of outline. I'm not drawing a big thick outline, I'm just giving the illusion. I'm just looking where the darker tones are and making them a bit more defined as well. That will help make everything look a bit more 3D. Whilst I wait for the retrieval of my other pencils, I might start on the little mossy areas. So I'm going to be quite rough with my pencil. I'm almost not even holding it properly. I'm just going all jaggedy so that I can get that texture. And I'm not, with this, because this is not a focal point for the illustration, I'm not worrying too much about looking at the image. I'm just doing what will look right on this picture. So I'm just going to mix a couple of greens in here and make it look like a little rough terrain. And then put some darker tones in as well. It's a really quick way of adding a bit of foreground or base without needing to focus on it too much, because that's not the focus. I don't want people to look at the grass, the moss. It's the bird that we're spending the time on. Thank you. Michael's retrieved my pencils so I can crack on with the legs. There's a lot of pencils.
120, that's quite a lot.
Okay, pinks. I can see pinks. So let's go with that, shall we? And we've got some shadows on the legs as well, so we're going to incorporate that into the drawing. There are about 40 different types of jay. So, another interesting fact. Jill, you've just prompted me, so I'm going to add this in. Well, let me find it. Jays are important dispersers of oak trees. The bird's specific name, glandarius, translates as of acorns, which alludes to the bird's habit of hiding nuts for the winter. A single jay can bury between 4,500 and 11,000 acorns a year and remember their location up to 10 months later. I can't even remember where I've put the car keys most days, so that's pretty impressive. Are they endangered? No, they are the least concern. They classify as least concern. Their estimated population is between 30 to 65 million mature individuals. But their biggest threat to them, guess what it is? Humans. Habitat loss. Whereas with a lot of species of animals these days, habitat loss is what threatens their survival. But in terms of numbers, the jays are okay for now.
Done.
You finished already, Michael?
Yes.
You've only just started painting it. How quick were you?
And plus, yeah, I'm done.
Went a bit dark on that shadow there. Whoops. Get those claws in. Same again with the claws as the beak. You will leave a little bit of a highlight so it looks like a different texture to the rest of the bird. I'm nearly done, then I can start painting my picture, which is where I sort of blend the tones together a little bit more with just water, because I'm using watercolour pencils. Okay, I think I'm ready to start painting, which is good. What we do with time? Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Get rid of some of those other lines that I don't want on the page anymore. Keep them out of the way. Nice. Okay. Before I start, I'm going to share some more facts with you just quickly. I thought this was interesting. In order to keep its feathers free of parasites, the Eurasian jay will cover itself in ants, which release formic acid to kill any unwanted stragglers. This behaviour is known as anting. We're going for a good anting today. That's a weird one, isn't it? So yeah, they'll smother themselves in ants to get rid of other parasites. They eat fruit, grains, nuts, snails, slugs, worms, insects, and birds. Now, I'm assuming, because it's not a massive bird, it must be like chicks or much smaller birds than themselves. They are protected in the UK under the Wildlife and Countryside Act 1981, so people aren't allowed to harm jays. Both male and female jays have the same plumage, so unlike with other birds, so if you take the peacock for example, the male tends to be the more colourful, perhaps prettier bird, and that we see that a lot in the animal kingdom, especially with birds. But with the jays, the male and the female have this very, very similar plumage, and generally the only way you can tell them apart is by the fact that the males are slightly bigger than the females. But again, you can only do that if you've got two side by side to be able to work out which one's bigger. They are shy, secretive birds. They're often heard rather than seen. So, Michael, do you want us to find some MP4 sounds of jays calling? Its usual call is something like a ja-ja, is what it says, ja-ja, in a hoarse voice. We'll find a natural example of it. I'm not going to try and do an impression. I fell miserably. But it's also known to mimic other bird songs. So, although it has its own call, it can make the sounds of other birds as well. The most common ones it mimics are the brown-eared bulbul and the common buzzard. I wonder where that is. I wonder what it is trying to do by mimicking.
Okay.
Do you want to come over and play it near my microphone? Michael's got a sound bite. Oh no, that's the wrong bird.
Is that
Yeah.
a blue jay?
That's a blue jay. We want the Eurasian jay.
So what?
Eurasian. So European jay, if you're struggling to spell that one.
one.
Does it look like the same? Oh, that's unusual. It's quite a coarse sound, isn't it?
Very high pitch.
Quite rattly. Interesting. So now if you do hear a bird like that out on your travels, you can go, oh, there's an Eurasian jay around here. Michael, do you want to show your picture today?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to.
I done that on purpose, by the way. I done that to add character.
Oh, nice. This is Michael's one. He's finished. So he's got his Eurasian jay there with the nice blue stripes and the prominent black stripe on his face. I can't show you all the pictures. I'll have to show you bits by it. Oh, you've got like a little... You copied one of our butterflies, haven't you, for that? Yeah, I like it. It's nice.
Oh, weird.
And a little tree with insects climbing up it. Is that his dinner?
Yeah.
Nice. Well done, Michael. Loads going on. Jill said in cities they mimic lawnmowers and alarm clocks. How interesting. And I wonder why. Why do they do that? Is it to attract a mate?
You would never need an alarm clock ever again.
That'd be a bit annoying though, isn't it? If you had a local jay that kept setting your alarm clock off too early.
Come on, get up.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Susie. She's put that's actually brilliant. Well done.
That'd be quite fun hearing.
Yeah, I'm going to catch up with this because my mum has just come back from work. Yeah, absolutely. Go say hello to your mum. This live will sit there ready for whenever you're ready.
That's quite funny, a bird trying to do a lawnmower sound.
Yeah.
That must sound quite funny. And you would think...
I don't think it'd be funny if it went off at 5 o'clock in the morning, though, would it?
You'd like,
Who's cutting their grass at this time?
What's my neighbour? Who's neighbours?
Am I going to have time to finish this? I feel like just about today.
It would be funny if it was in your garden as well. You'd be like, I'm not mowing the lawn.
Remember when you shade and when you paint, try and leave whiter areas, try and leave gaps in your colour application so that you get those highlights and that contrast in tone. And then if you have too much of a solid colour, it can make your picture look very flat.
What I'm best at.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I was on holiday in the Lake District and saw a shooting star. Where was it? We went somewhere a couple of years ago. I can't think where it was now, but we kept seeing it was all, there was like a shower of them one evening. It was beautiful. Do you remember, Michael?
Yeah, I can't remember.
We stayed. It was glamping
Yeah.
in a big like a safari tent. But I can't remember where in the country it was. It wouldn't have been too far because we don't tend to go too far.
Might be London.
No, it wasn't even. It wasn't as
No.
far as that. It was lovely.
Maybe.
And apparently near us at the moment, we need to get the app. There's an app now, and I only know this because of the homemade WhatsApp group I've got on my phone at the moment. There's an app you can get because we're near us. People keep seeing the Northern Lights at the minute.
I've seen someone that has an app that tells you where all
Yeah, so and it alerts you to when you're likely to see them. And apparently last night they were near Folkestone, I think.
I've seen someone have that, and that kind of like that, but it tells you like when all the moons and stuff are, like all the different planets.
Oh, nice. Alright, so I'm going into full concentration mode again on these stripes. So I'll rush this, then you're going to lose that definition of the pattern and the colour. So I'll do the black first of all, and then I'll paint the blue so to avoid them mixing all up. getting there, we're winning. How long we've got left? 15 minutes, plenty of time. So what should I do next? I'm going to do the front of his neck. I haven't done the beak yet. I completely bypassed that. Again, I don't want to lose that white highlight, so I'm really careful with my paintbrush. Then moving into his feathery black stripe. And some of these little shadows and the white feathers down here. And onto the legs, I think. Again, I want to create quite defined lines there, so I'm being very controlled with the way I use the paintbrush rather than just colouring it all in. I want there to be definition between the black and the pink that I've put on the page. That's an amazing picture, as in the photo that we're working from. I always try and find pictures that are really clear and crisp and really bold with the colour, and that can be tricky to find in wildlife because animals move and the jay, for example, is a very secretive bird, so being able to take a photo of it, I imagine, would have been quite tricky for the photographer.
It would have been a great, like...
It would have been an awesome moment, wouldn't it, capturing it. And now these really strong black wing feathers down into the tail as well to finish up. This would definitely be a point where I turn the page again. Flip my hands upside down. I'm going to do it. I'm going to turn my page. Sorry guys, just whilst I do this bit, otherwise I'm not likely to be as accurate. Difficult to draw a straight line if your hand is pushing against the other way. So I'm just going to turn it whilst I finish the towel, and then I'll turn it back again. There we go, and then all I've got left to do is just the little mossy rock, and I'll be done. How's everyone else getting on? So don't forget as well that if you would like some feedback, you need to wait for the post that Joe will put up of this picture, the one I'm drawing right now. So that'll go on around 6 p.m. And then if you put a comment on with your photo of your work before 9 p.m, hopefully I'll see it and be able to give you some written feedback, just telling you what I think you've done particularly well and giving you a tip for what you could do next time, or how you could develop your picture on a little bit to make it even better. Might be finishing a little bit earlier today. I'll check my fact sheet, make sure I didn't miss any. Okay, with me, I'm just going to rub out some of these pencil lines I can still see on my page. Tidy it up a little bit. I'm quite pleased with that, considering, if you've been following fairly length of time, you'll know this about me. I don't like drawing birds. I find them a lot more difficult to draw than mammals because of the feathers. So I don't think that's too shabby. I might go in and just add in a bit more definition here because I think it's lost a little. You're all done, Jill, Emily and Freya? Anyone else finished? How'd you find that one? So what was the last bird we did? Now I remember. But I feel like we struggled a little bit with it. But I don't know, I think, well, this might be an example of practice makes perfect. Maybe we're mastering it now. We're just getting used to it. So with watercolour pencils, once the page is dry, after you've worked water into it, you can build on it again with your pencils. So if you wanted to add in more definition or some feather lines or something like that, then you can do that, but you must make sure that the paper's dry first, else it ends up with a really bold line, perhaps where you wouldn't want one. I bought some new sketching pencils at the Lake District. Oh nice, is that what you've been using for your draw-alongs? I love new art equipment. There's nothing quite like it, breaking open a new set of pencils or a new set of paints. Okay, I think I'm done. Just going to sign it, remember, and then put the year, and that's my Eurasian J, standing on a little mossy rock. Not too bad today, despite the relocation. I'm just going to check through my facts, make sure that we covered everything. No, I think that was everything. So lots of interesting facts there. The fact that they can live up to 17 years was a real surprise to me. They're omnivores, so they don't just eat fruit and grains like a sparrow might. Oh no, a sparrow would eat mealworms and stuff, wouldn't they? So yeah, omnivores that eat other animals as well as fruits and grains. Next week, I think next week is a viper.
Oh.
Yeah. I think.
That'd be cool.
There's a viper in there somewhere. It might be next week. I don't know. Yes, it is. It's a viper. I think I've labelled it as an adder, but it's actually technically a viper. The last week is a salamander. So, yeah, so like I said before, we're trying to, rather than just complete mammals, we're going to be trying to visit other animal groups, so birds and reptiles. Yeah, so that's what we'll be finishing on over the next couple of weeks. So hopefully you'll join us then. Snake will be another new challenge. Again, like the birds, they have very distinctive patterns and symmetry within their body. So it'll be another challenge for me as well as you guys as well, I'm sure. But I'll leave it at that. Hopefully we'll see you next Monday. See you later.